let's also get started and let's take a look at the top global headlines this morning. Britain has managed to scale the fastest growth in nearly 3 years in the first quarter of 2024, bringing an end to the shallow recession it had entered in the second half of last year. Country's GDP expanded by 0.6% in the Jan to March period, and the strongest growth since the fourth quarter of 2021 when it rose by 1.5% as well. However, Britain has still had one of the slowest recoveries from the effects of the pandemic among major advanced economies, exacerbated by a surge in European natural gas prices after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022 as well.
Well, moving on, let's talk about what's happening in China. And China's consumer price index has risen for a third straight month in April, while the producer price index has fallen 2.5% on a year-on-year basis, signaling an improvement in domestic demand as Beijing navigates challenges in its bid to shore up a shaky economy. Key inflation edged up 0.3% in April, and the Chinese central bank also said that it would make monetary policy flexible, precise, and promote a moderate recovery in consumer prices as well.
Alright, then shifting focus to important commentary from the US Federal Reserve, then Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee added his voice to the procession of officials commenting on interest rates and inflation, said he believes US monetary policy is relatively restrictive, meaning that borrowing costs are putting downward pressure on inflation, and added that he's hesitant to put too much weight on stronger than expected inflation in the first quarter of this year. Meanwhile, Dallas Fed President Lori Logan also remarked that there are uncertainties regarding whether policy is adequately restrictive to lower inflation to the target, emphasized that it is premature to consider interest rate cuts at this stage.
Well, let's move on then. And global healthcare majors Pfizer and AstraZeneca have announced fresh investments in France worth nearly $1 billion ahead of the start of this year's annual Choose France Business Summit. Pfizer said it would invest 500 million euros to build up its research and development work in the country. Meanwhile, AstraZeneca has announced an investment of $388 million for its site at Dunkirk.
Meanwhile, more news flow from Choose France event on Sunday, where retail giant Amazon will also be pumping in an extra 1.2 billion euros into France with the potential to create as many as 3,000 new jobs. The event comes as France, the Eurozone's second biggest economy, faces concerns over its budget deficit, while its growth in the first quarter was just 0.2%.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.